Yo, what's happening, y'all? It's your man Valentine, baby. Coming to you from on the grind. Man, you know what time it is, y'all. You know how we go down. It's the home edition, man. And listen, we had to give it to y'all, man. You can't not be outside when it's like this here. But yeah, so I don't know where I'm not even sure where to begin today, but I mean, we can begin with certain things that some things how are so they stay the same of being so stupid. Some I'm not sure where it was, but it just ran across the scroll on TV where some lady called called the police on a dude sitting in his car. People, you need to understand, in certain situations like this, man, when you call the police, that might be a death sentence. So if the man or persons ain't doing nothing wrong, let it alone. You know what I mean? Y'all gotta just leave stuff like that alone, man, and don't worry about it. And then I was looking at the this lady who was in the RCMP, and she was talking about how I guess she's filing a lawsuit or something like that, and how she was being treated as an indigenous woman in the RCMP. And I know that that lady, what's her name? I think it's Brenda Lucky, the RCMP commissioner. I mean, she was saying she couldn't remember. We talked about this, how she couldn't even say there was systemic racism in the RCMP. You feel me? Or she couldn't. Oh wait, I don't know. I don't know what is systemic racism. This is what she did, and then she recanted, and then she couldn't give an example. But here's this woman. I don't know. I think her last name is Hudson, and this is the woman who's given examples of racism in the RCMP to an indigenous woman. You know what I mean? Unbelievable, unbelievable. And but anyway, and then I wish her all the best in her lawsuit against the RCMP, because that's just foolish, and they shouldn't. There's no way that she should be treated the way she did or the way she was. And then I was looking at something else, and then this morning I saw something about my man Nick Cannon. What is wrong with this dude? You, you know, I mean, if he ain't stupid, I mean, you saw what Deshaun Jackson did about this anti-Semitic rhetoric that he was posting on his Twitter or wherever it was. Now Nick Cannon, he's got some of the same views, and now I guess his parent company, whatever it is, named Viacom CBS, has parted ways with this knucklehead. And come on, man, really? I don't get it. You need to think, and truly, if you need to, you just have to find somebody that will educate you on what it is that is anti-Semitic. You know what I mean? This is what you got to do. You need to get yourself educated. Find somebody that will help you. This way, this stuff doesn't keep happening. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Now, here's something that was kind of irritating me, and I know there was some. This is I think it was last week, where I think my man Patrick Mahomes, the dude signed a $500 million contract, and somebody was writing about how he has a the dude has a white girlfriend. You feel where I'm going with this, right? Because I don't understand the fact that what does him having a white girlfriend have to do with anything? He's got, his parents are mixed. He's a mixed young man. He's half black, half white. You know, he's mulatto is what they call it. So, and yet I was thinking about it, and all of a sudden I was watching the NFL Network and Good Morning Football, and I don't believe the dude who was the host, one of the hosts, was saying it maliciously or intended it to be malicious. Is when he was closing off and talking about Mahomes and this and that, and how he's a mixed parents, so things are good and blah blah blah. But I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you know what? Why are we talking about that? Why is that a problem? Why is that even in the forefront? And it only goes to me to understand where this all comes from, because if we go back to Washington and Lincoln back in the day, these two presidents still had, they had slaves, and they had half white children with these slaves. So they raped and did whatever they wanted to some of the slave women, and yet then when they had children, they turned them aside, didn't care nothing about them, because they were mulatto, right? So you have many of these children that are still around that maybe have lineage from these two presidents. And so it's gone back to way back to when it was that slave owners didn't actually, you know, man, I see I'm even stumbling because it's so dumb. And I'm trying to give you all a sense of where this is coming from and where the root lies. Because when you have white and black people, it shouldn't be a problem. And I can tell you right now, even if you have two people in the car, one's white and say Mahomes is in the car with a white dude and he's in the car, guess who's going to be arrested? It's going to be Mahomes, because he's looked at as a black dude. You see what I'm saying? So, but the sheer fact is that this all stems from way, way back. And if we go back to when Emmett Till was killed back in the day, where he said hello to a white woman in a store, it goes back to then, where black men are not supposed to be dating white women. You see what I'm saying? And it's, man, I'm not even sure where to go with this, but it's so dumb that, because listen, the West Coast is gonna be the melting pot of biracial children. So you go up and down the West Coast, that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So for me to hear this on the when he signed the contract, and then on Good Morning Football on the NFL, I was like, why is this coming up? You know what I mean? Because listen, if we go back to where I know I've dated a bunch of let's say we go some Asian women, and I've dated some, you know how you go out and you want to go to their house, but you know how it's always been where they say, hey, you know what, you're good enough to take home to my mother or to my family. But I remember when I wasn't. And the fact is, when I still went to this person's house because they invited me, and later on I found out that her mother was to say, you know what, you should be dating a white guy instead of a black guy. And truly, socioeconomic reasons, I'm thinking this is probably why she said it, because she's more thinking that the white man's gonna make more than a black man in earnings, and in some socioeconomic standings, it does happen that way. However, you know what? I'm educated, so I'm gonna make money. But this is how things happen. You know what I mean? And man, I don't understand the I just don't understand the sheer fact of being biracial or even being a mulatto in this day and age, because it shouldn't matter, and it shouldn't matter with Patrick Mahomes signing a $500 million contract, and it shouldn't matter with anybody else, because the police brutality is still going to happen, the socioeconomic reasons are still happening, the systemic racism is still happening, the institutional racism is still happening until we get this under control, and where we can actually talk about whatever we have to talk about. But you know what? I'm thinking almost talking, we continue to talk and continue to talk, but yet there's not really too much left to talk about. You know what I mean? And we need to be able to get past all these microaggressions, man, and 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 not have these things develop where two people like each other and then they can get together and blah blah blah. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping one day we can all we can all live together, as as Martin Luther King in his speech. I had a dream, and it's for black, white, red, yellow, whatever, to be able to live together equally. You know what I mean? And again, if you want to watch a show that depicts the black and white nature of how things are, you can watch like Sidney Poitier and Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy, and it's called Look Who's Coming to Dinner. You know what I mean? And great show to talk about black and white. And again, I say with Spike Lee, Jungle Fever. You can watch that and look at them and see how the dynamics play out, because it's got to get past where, because it's also in the black culture too, where black women didn't like black men dating white women. We have to get past that too. And you can't have that stigma as well, because then we also have to learn. So these things it's transcending into something bigger, man. And we've got to make it smaller, because it's not that big a deal. And you can have it, you can go out and date anybody you want and not have a problem. You feel what I'm saying? Because racism is still going to exist if we don't take care of it. Discrimination is still going to exist. You know what I mean? And the fight for equality is why we're here. You know what I mean? So let's move on past this mixed parents nonsense and whatever else, and get to the real root of the cause. And it's racism. That is the real root. That's what it is. And discrimination. You feel what I'm saying? So Mahomes, you live on. Do your thing, dog. Handle yourself with that $500 million contract, man. I ain't hating on you, man. I'm thinking it's dope. So do your thing. Yo. Man, we still going through a pandemic, man. And yes, it's the pandemic of racism we still going through as well. Right? But the pandemic that's right now is here. Both of them are here at the same time. But people, the one that you have to make sure you're taking care of right now is wearing a mask. And make sure that you going out and wearing a mask. And social distance, hand sanitize, do whatever you got to do to make sure you stay safe. And let's also cure that pandemic of racism as well, and try to get rid of that as well, because we fighting a battle right now. You know what I mean? On two fronts. Yo, you know what time it is, man. If you think it's your time to shine, you need to get on the grind with your man Valentine, baby.